gentlemen, put your hands together for the 2019 RAF Aerobatic team. As Red 1 leads the aircraft over in big battle formation, he pulls up to the vertical, calling the aircraft into short diamonds. Red 1, the team leader, is squadron leader Martin Pert. Martin is a former Harrier and Typhoon pilot. He's also been a Hawk instructor, and this is his second year as Red 1. On the right of Red 1 is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Damon Green. Damon is a former Hawk pilot with 100 Squadron and Typhoon pilot, and he joins us from Coningsby. Well, Red 1 has called the aircraft into Apollo formation, it of course being the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landings. As Red 1 brings Apollo towards us, the smoke is about to come on, ready for the Apollo roll. Upside down at 3,500 feet, the distinctive bright red aircraft in this beautiful sky in Torbay. As Apollo moves into a right-hand turn, Red 1 is about to call them into another historic shape. I've mentioned it already today, but the first flight of Concorde was 50 years ago this year, shortly after the Apollo moon landings. Concorde go, calls Red 1. The smoke comes on the outside of the formation as the aircraft slip forward, forming the iconic shape. Going full, calls Red 1. As the aircraft comes towards us, you'll see the iconic shape of Concorde, looking as if it's on final approach to Heathrow with engines underneath, the nose lights pointing towards us. He's about to pull up into the Concorde loop. And pulling up, calls Red 1, the aircraft pulling to the vertical in Concorde. He's about to call them into Signet as they transition in the middle of the loop. Eight and 9 moving to the outside as they complete the Signet maneuver over the top of the loop, 6,000 feet above us. Wing of Signet is Red 4, another of our new pilots this year, Flight Lieutenant Gregor Ogston. Gregor has previously flown the Harrier and the Typhoon, and he joins the team having been an instructor at Valley on the new version of the Hawk T2. It's non-stop action as Red 1 calls the aircraft from Signet into Phoenix. Phoenix, a very hard formation for the pilots to fly with 6 aircraft in line abreast. And we're about to have the colour on for the the Phoenix pass. To the left of Red 1 in Phoenix is Squadron Leader Mike Bowden. Mike returns to the team this year while David Simmons recovers from injury. Many of you remember that Mike Bowden was on the team last year. In fact, he's done 4 display seasons and was in the process of leaving the Royal Air Force to join TUI Airlines. And they graciously allowed him to come back for 1 more year before rejoining them next year. history already today, but as the smoke comes on the wingtips of Phoenix, Reds 8 and 9 are moving to the back of the formation into Lancaster. The Lancaster, of course, very well known for its historic missions in World War II, but it was also a factor in D-Day, providing decoy tactics to take attention away from the Normandy landings. Red 1 bringing Lancaster in towards us, about to pull up with the smoke on, ready for the Lancaster roll. On the left wing of Lancaster is Squadron Leader Steve Morris. Steve has previously been on the Red Arrows, he's a previous Harrier and Tornado pilot, and has also instructed at Valley. Steve last left the team in 2016 and will be with us for 2 years. At Castle Bromwich. Well, it was a favourite last year. It's definitely one for the photographers amongst you, and it's back this year, commemorating the frontline aircraft that retired from service after a historic 3 decades of operations. You guessed it, it's time for Tornado. Aboard calls Red 9 as 8 and 9 put the coloured smoke on and roll around the smoke trail of the rest of the formation. Red 1 about to bend the shape to the left with a smoke colour change. Here it is, it's Tornado. Finishes off to our right hand side, that signals the end of the first half of our display. So far we've had all 9 aircraft in close formation, making historic and well-known shapes across the sky. Well, it's time to step it up a gear, it's time to move to the second half. As Red 1 positions Phoenix out to the front, he's about to split the formation into the front 5 and the back 4, with Red 6 and 7 forming the synchro pair. Reds 1 to 5 nicknamed Enid, after Enid Blyton's famous 5. They'll be pulling up straight in front of us, with Red 6 and 7 staying low, 8 and 9 then peeling off to join them as we start the second half. Get those cameras ready, it's time for the palm split. Red 6 and 7 staying low with the red and blue smoke on, the remainder of the aircraft forming a beautiful palm tree above us here in Torbay. Chasing Red 6 and 7 are Reds 8 and 9 as they position at either end of the display line, ready for the first of their opposition passes. From our right hand side, trailing the white smoke is Red 6, Flight Lieutenant Toby Keeley. Toby is a former Tornado pilot and Hawk T2 instructor. He's in his 3rd and final year on the team, and he's followed by Red 8. On the left, Red 7 and Red 9. This is the Jippo Pass. Reds 8 and 9 pulling to the vertical, while Reds 6 and 7 safe flat. Get your eyes out in front as Reds 6 and 7 pull round towards you. They're about to cross with 100 feet separation, pulling into a tight turn in the Cyclone. Reds 6 and 7 continue pulling hard towards each other. They'll cross around the back of the circle in the slingshot. Synchro finished that manoeuvre. Here comes Red 9 from the left with his smoke on. Look out to the right hand side for Enid. They've formed an inverted V formation. Red 9 about to fly straight down the middle in the Goose. Red 9 pulling to the vertical is Flight Lieutenant Dan Lowe's. Dan is a former Typhoon pilot and weapons instructor, and he's in his third and final year on the team. Red 1 leads Enid off to the left-hand side with the coloured smoke changing to white. It's time to look straight ahead. Red 6 and 7 are preparing for the biggest manoeuvre we do. Can you guess what it is? It is time for the Heart and Spear. Here they go, Red 6 and 7 pulling up in formation. The white smoke about to come on. The white smoke on as Red 6 and 7 pull away from each other. Red 8 has pulled up to the vertical. He's coming down from the right hand side, about to make the spear. And today's heart is dedicated by Red 9 for Susan and Michael Lowe's in celebration of their 40th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Red 8 spearing the heart is Flight Lieutenant Chris Lyndon Smith. He's a former Tornado and Hawk pilot. He's has flown in the most number of positions on the Red Arrows, having flown as Reds 2, 7, 6, 5, 4 and 8. Now here come the synchro pair again from the left and the right. Red 6 on the right is rolling inverted. Red 7 the right way round. They're about to cross and switch in the vice versa. As synchro turn their smoke off and pitch crowd wheel, look to the front and the left. Here come the rest of the aircraft. The smoke coming on, pulling up for the vertical break. Red 1 rolling the aircraft to the right. They're about to pull over on their back. The white smoke's flowing. Get those cameras ready, get them zoomed out. It's time for the vertical break. As the smoke turns off, Red 1 will gather the aircraft back together. It's time to look out for the synchro pair again, coming in from the left and the right. Their smoke is about to come on. They'll cross 3 times in front of us in a tight 6G circle, changing smoke colour as they go. It's time for the carousel. The red and blue smoke comes on, Red 6 and 7 pulling 6G, fighting the G-forces round the back of the circle. Watch for their smoke colour changing to form a red and a blue half. There they cross, coming back towards us. Fighting those G-forces. Finishing the manoeuvre at datum in the carousel. As 6 and 7 turn their smoke off, it's time to look straight ahead and to the right. There's Enid, the white smoke is on, change into colours as they pull up, ready to roll into the Python. Each aircraft has 5 minutes of white smoke and 1 minute of red, 1 minute of blue, and red 1 and red 6 choreographing the smoke throughout the display. And as we see Python, I'd like to make a special mention to Charlotte, who was at the Red Arrows tent earlier, and also to the Fisher family. You can hear Red 1's very metronomic tone as he talks to the other aircraft through the manoeuvres. The pilot's reacting to his voice rather than his aircraft movement, making sure the formations keep straight and accurate. As Python finishes to our left-hand side, it's time to look out for the right. The smoke is about to come on. We have the 4 aircraft running in from the right-hand side. Reds 6 and 7 about to roll inverted. Reds 8 and 9 will roll around them. It's time for the corkscrew. Here they come, Reds 8 and 9 with the red and blue smoke rolling around the tail of 6 and 7. Calls Red 9 as the aircraft roll out in escort formation to make way for Enid coming from the left.
I saw them. Oh, I see them. I saw them. Yeah,
Keep those eyes peeled to the left. The smoke is about to come on.
Oh, I see them.
Red 1 will give the command and Reds 2 and 3 will roll from the inside to the outside, changing smoke colour as they go in the rollbacks. Clear going for 2 and 3, the signal for 4 and 5 to roll. Singing complete as they finish the symmetrical rollbacks off to the left-hand side. Now it's time to get your eyes straight ahead. Let's look for that smoke coming on. It's time for 8 and 9 to roll around 6 and 7 before they roll themselves in the Jimmo break. Arcing across the sky, Red 6 and 7 staying low with the red and blue on as they prepare for the last of their opposition manoeuvres. On the left-hand side we have Red 7 by Lieutenant John Bond. Bond is a former Tucano instructor who displayed the aircraft back in 2012. He is then a Typhoon pilot and is in his 2nd year on the team. He will become Red 6, the synchro leader, next year. In from the left and the right, the synchro pair about to perform the double rolls. light blue as they peel off behind. Now look straight ahead, see if you can pick out the nose lights of the other aircraft as Reds 8 and 9 rush to join in, ready for the display finale. Here they come, the nose lights are on, the smoke comes on, ready for the Vixen break. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Red Arrows! Over the top of the Vixen break, his smoke comes on, the signal for the other aircraft. All of us on 18 Bomber Squadron to bring you the 2019 Chinook display. So, looking back out to the display area, along what we call the B-axis, in the centre of the crowd line, you'll see the mighty Chinook has now descended slow level, and at its cruising speed of 120 knots. The crew will shortly pitch the aircraft up into a steep climb, and as they come over the top of their first nose over, they're going to be looking straight down, giving them the first cue of you all looking back up at them. When that happens, please do give them a big wave as they're going to come over the top and see you for the first time. And here they go, ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 Chinook display. Pitching back down now, give the crew a wave before they make their 90-degree breakaway to our left. This year, the Chinook display captain is Squadron Leader John Turner, known as JT. JT joined the RAF in 1993 and was posted to RAF Odium to fly the Chinooks in 1998. He's flown on operations in Bosnia, Sierra Leone, Iraq and Afghanistan, and most recently in the Caribbean in 2017 undertaking hurricane relief support.
In your way.
As the aircraft moves away to our left, watch as the nose pitches up by 45 degrees and completes a pedal turn to the left. This is a difficult point for JT as he's unable to see the ground from the front, so he's scanning rapidly sideways to ensure he's got the correct pitch in the climb whilst keeping the wings level. As he runs in now, the nose is going to be pulled up by 45 degrees for another nose over before recovering at the display base level. An especially warm welcome to Jeff and Carol, also JT's parents, who join us in the crowd today. Joining JT in the cockpit is the 2019 display co-pilot, Flight Lieutenant Aaron Kerry. Aaron joined the Royal Air Force in 2008 and subsequently completed his rotary flying training. Joined the Chinook Force in 2015, he's seen operations in the Middle East and more recently returned from Op Newcomb in support of our French allies in Mali this past April. So you've now just seen the aircraft pull up by 30 degrees in its offset right-hand wing over. JT's looking down now, moving his head, trying to pick up the display line again before descending tight, capturing the correct airspeed and running back in. So those of you at this end, listen close in. This waka waka sound is synonymous with Chinook and leads to our popular Twitter hashtag, #BladeSlap. Shortly, the Chinook's going to break away to perform a 60-degree offset wing over away from crowd centre. Flown by the RAF, the Chinook is actually operated under the Tri-Service Joint Helicopter Command. It remains in high demand due to its large cabin, capable of carrying up to 40 fully equipped troops. Also carrying vehicles, freight and palletised cargo both inside and outside of the aircraft, though perhaps we're best known for the medical emergency response, a role which the force fulfilled under fire during Op Herrick in Afghanistan. Well, that's the aircraft.
aircraft now pulling up to conduct a 30-degree wing over. Another challenging manoeuvre at that end with the co-pilot Aaron not only calling out JT's pitch angles, roll angles, heights and speeds, but also glancing out to the left-hand side of the cockpit to talk him round until he's able to see the display line again. And with that done, the crew are now repositioning for their crowd centre nose over. So it's time to get your cameras ready if you want to capture Chinook at 45 degrees nose up. The display you see today really demonstrates how manoeuvrable this extremely large helicopter is. Most of the display is born out of tactical skills employed and perfected on operations around the world. During all of these manoeuvres, the co-pilot's eyes are constantly darting around the cockpit. He is checking aircraft performance, monitoring the aircraft speeds, pitch and roll parameters, and all of the heights. As you can imagine, this is all the more difficult over water, as the height can be incredibly difficult to judge. See the aircraft now turn to the right in a pedal turn to the left. The Chinook's been used constantly as a battlefield helicopter for over 37 years, most recently in Iraq, Afghanistan and now Mali. Its heavy lift capacity combined with power, speed and agility ensure that even during those hottest summers and darkest nights the force always lately design. Operationally, the ship has a 4-person crew, 2 pilots in the cockpit and 2 weapons systems operators or crewmen in the cabin. So here's the aircraft running left now. You'll shortly notice the nose coming up to decelerate through 85 knots. Boys and girls, as we're going to ask you to show your appreciation to the display team as they give you a wave with a big orange hand. And in the cabin today is Sergeant James Begg, known as Bexy. Bexy joined the RAF in 2009 as a weapons systems operator. On completion of his specialist training, he joined 18 Squadron. He's deployed on operations to both Afghanistan and more recently to Mali and has around 1,100 hours on the Chinook. And please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to post your photos of the display today on our Facebook, Twitter or Instagram feed this evening, as we really do enjoy seeing them. And you can use the hashtag BladeSlap. Welcome also goes to Aaron's fiancée Kelly, who is watching from the beach today, and tomorrow's co-pilot, Flight Lieutenant Ant Jewett, is enjoying the display today from the beach with his wife Diana and 2 daughters Annabelle and Lara. So the crew is reaching about a quarter of a mile to the right of the display datum now, and JT will be focused on returning the aircraft to the hover. Shortly they will pull power and apply left pedal, taking the Chinook skywards into the Gorley corkscrew, rotating and climbing to 800 feet. And coming off to the top, they begin their 315-degree spiral descent. All of us at 18 Squadron are really proud to be bringing you the 2019 Chinook display this year. We do so alongside our operational and frontline deployments commitments, whilst conducting all of our regular duties, training and tasking. Now the aircraft's going to run back in with the nose low, accelerating towards the ground before breaking away to our left. If the wind's right, you may well feel the sound of the Chinook. The crew are now going to complete another wing over out to the left, with the co-pilot working hard to get JT back onto the crest line. Now, over land, we would then normally look to land the aircraft back on just 2 of its 6 wheels, but looking at the surface in front of you, you may notice a slight issue with that. Supporting display aircraft this year, we have a team of exceptional engineers, fresh back from operations in Mali, led by Chief Technician Lee Edgerton. Lee joined the RAF in 1990 and has worked on Phantoms, Tornadoes and Pumas. Although he's been involved on a Chinook force since 1997, we simply wouldn't have a display without him and his team of hard-working engineers. We adapt our overwater display to fly a flat 270-degree turn to re-attack the crowd centre. You'll get one final experience of that powerful blade flap now as the roll rate increases, those huge 30-foot blades bite the air and the crews stop hard using the nose down quick stop technique to capture the hover over the display datum.
Well, if that's the case, we have to take out to RAF.
At this point, I'd like to mention all of those at RAF home to 2,200 personnel of all trades, including air traffickers, engineers, armourers, logisticians, caterers, medical staff, amongst so many others. All of them are so dedicated to supporting our global and national commitments. RAF and the Chinook Force are all about teamwork, and we remain ready to respond to national and global events at a moment's notice, with personnel and aircraft on permanent readiness 365 days of the year. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's the crew come to hover one final time and show them your appreciation as they perform their final over-the-shoulder departure, hauling our 50-ton machine backwards. And with that, unfortunately, I must say my goodbyes also. It's been an absolute pleasure to display for you here at Torbay today, and our sincere thanks must go out to the event organisers, Flight Patrol Committee, and of course all of you for coming out to watch our display. If you'd like to know more about the team or RAF, then please do follow our social media outlets under Chinook Display Team on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We'd also love to welcome you to our stand where you can meet some of the Chinook aircrew and engineers. And sometime this afternoon as well, please do give consideration to visiting the South Atlantic Medal Association.
The wind and where it's going. This enables us to help us find out where we can place the jumpers and where we can jump from. It also helps us to decide on where we need to jump from so that we don't overshoot and we hit our landing area. So if you keep looking up, ladies and gentlemen, you will see them throw them momentarily. Throwing these for display is Corporal Frank Millerick, our team leader. He is also our display jump master. As a display jump master, his roles are to ensure that every person on that plane knows their role exactly and knows what will be happening throughout the display. Also on the plane, if you look up the sky now, you can see the red and the yellow woodies now falling to the ground. While these are falling, Corporal Frank Millerick and Private Chris Gray are watching intently, seeing where they land. This will then enable them to help to decide on what wind line they will fly and what path they shall get out. So while we're watching them, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you a little bit more information about team members. We have Private Ryan Clark on his first jumping display season. It is his third year on the team and he is going to be part of the pre-fall group today. Private Clark has spent 4 years in the British Army. We've all come from an infantry background and he decided to take up skydiving on an X-bed and has stayed there ever since. We also have our team OC on the team, Captain Ian Wicks. He is one of the most experienced jumpers that we have on the team and he has commanded the team for over 5 years. The next one we have, and one of our newest members on the team, is Private Alex Goodman. She works alongside us as part of the AGC and is attached to our team. She came out on the team to learn to skydive. She's put her own effort into skydive and she came out with us on team training where she was successfully selected to be part of the team. Ladies and gentlemen, once the woodies hit the ground, the airplane will then climb up to altitude. Once they've climbed up to altitude, they will then jump out as much as they can. You will see smoke coming from the aircraft. When you see that smoke, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to hear the biggest 1, 2, 3. But that will come in about another 5 minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see more of what we can do, you can look at us on social media. we're under the Tigers Army Parachute Display Team on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, where you will see plenty of our footage for what we do. We also offer tandems. If you go onto our website, Tigers, if I can get a countdown from 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. I guess they don't like me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can do this again. 3, 2, 1. And there's the first man as he goes down, travelling at 120 miles per hour. You can see the second man also coming down. There is the third and the fourth. As you can see, these three, ladies and gentlemen, are falling in formation. The middleman smoke still lights as he's lighting the way. And that was 2 there, ladies and gentlemen. Now the first canopy is deployed. Second canopy, the third and the fourth. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we do various aerobatics which tend to be either from spirals as well as loaded in. We make this as dynamic as possible and to be as interesting as possible. As you can see, the Union Jack has got one of our flags. It is our regimental flag. It carries the colours of blue, yellow, blues, which we wear proudly, as well as has our cap badge on the centre of it. It signals the wind direction and strength, and this is our first person that is looking at graciously set up point. The set-up point is where we start to think how are we going to land and what direction we need to take. As you see, he's judging the wind and he's seeing where it's best time to come in. As you see, ladies and gentlemen, we've also got behind, we've got our regimental flag in tow, and we've also got our other jumpers coming in. And there we go, spiraling in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first person. This is our Team OC, Captain Ian Wicks. Please give him a round of applause as he starts season 1. He proudly wears our Tigers FFT canopy. Ladies and gentlemen, is he going to get towards the centre? What do we think? He's going. He's going. He's going. And he reaches the ground. Here comes our second jumper. This is Private Alex Goodman as she comes in with the regimental flag. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. She's coming in. And here comes our next jumper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Private Brian Clark as he comes in, ready for his landing. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause as he comes in. As he judges the wind, gets there. If you look up the sky now, ladies and gentlemen, you can see our 4th jumper from the free-fall team, predicting where they're going to go. This is Corporal Nathan May as he comes in. Actually, he has a blue canopy, ladies and gentlemen. Our canopies are brown air canopies, which means that they suck as much air in as possible to enable to keep them afloat. As he sits there, he's adjusting his position, taking into account the different wind direction and speeds and which direction they will land. As he comes in for his final pattern, please, ladies and gentlemen, give him a massive cheer and a round of applause. What do we think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think he's going to get the centre? As he comes in on his final float. And he's in the water, ladies and gentlemen, nice and wet. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look up to the sky now, you will see 2 canopies together. This is otherwise known as canopy relative work. This is where we will grab each other's canopies and lines and literally climb down them to another person. This is a very dangerous manoeuvres, but we practice them very much in intensity to make sure that we do them correctly and safely. At the moment, you have Corporal Frank Minerick and Private Chris Gray as he lets go of the smoke that is trailing behind him. They are just adjusting the wind, getting into position and ready to do what they do best. And there is the Union Jack flag, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredibly hard manoeuvre where they are actually spiralling in 2. What happens here is the bottom man gets more swing and as he gets thrown across. This is where our team training really kicks in. and we learn to harness and do subtle movements to make it as best as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a big cheer. Believe it or not, they can hear you from there. We are trained to use many things, ladies and gentlemen, smoke, flags, as well as what we do with canopy work. As you can see now, they have decided to do a setup. They're at their point, they're thinking, can they go? Watch closely, ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss this as they come in. Give him a wave, ladies and gentlemen, he's giving everyone a wave. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him as big cheer as possible, as you can, as Corporal Frank Minnick and Private Chris Kay come into landing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is otherwise known as a two-stack landing.
Display here for you today, and over the next few minutes I'll be talking you through the display sequence and sharing a few facts with you about this year's display pilot, Flight Lieutenant Liam Matthews. That stick noise you heard when Liam first passed through is the uprated Garrett TPE turboprop engine fitted to the Royal Air Force Tucano by Shorts in Belfast. This particular engine boasts more power than the original Tucano design. Liam now returning back towards crowd centre, he's going to roll that aeroplane around 720 degrees in its 5-point roll. This year's Tucano display is supported by BAC International Group, who provide engineering and ground support to the Royal Air Force Tucano fleet at its home in RAF Red Arrows in Yorkshire. And the team's thanks go out to them for helping us to make this display possible. As Liam returns back to crowd centre, he's going to pull up for the start of a loop where he'll peak upside down at a height of 2,300 feet. As Liam now positions to run away from the crowd, I'll just tell you a little bit more about the display pilot himself. Liam Matthews is known as a skivvy QFI at Lincoln News, meaning he demonstrated above average ability during his flying training and was selected at an early stage of his career to become a flight instructor. Now he's nodding to the left and to the right for his noddy stall turn. Back round to the left as he dives down to gain some energy for his next manoeuvre, pointing back at the crowd. This is Liam's first season as a display pilot and the Tucano's final year as a display aircraft, so a very momentous year for 72 Squadron. The team would like to thank a few companies for their support this year to making the Tucano display possible. A special thanks go out to Breitling, Mountain Equipment and Osprey Europe. Both the display pilot and myself this year were students training on the aircraft less than 2 years ago. For the younger members of the audience, we remember watching our very first air shows. We were not long ago in your shoes, and you could very soon be in ours. As Liam positions back towards you, he's pushing the aircraft onto its side and pushing around the sky in an outside turn. During this manoeuvre, Liam is being forced out of his seat by a force equal to twice his own body weight. If you've managed to visit our stand today, you'll have noticed another supporter to the team is the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund. The team gives huge thanks for their support this year, and we enjoy celebrating together 100 years of the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund. The Royal Air Force Tucano, now the end of its service, has served 30 years with the #1 flying training school, the oldest military flying training school in the world. As it finishes its final year of service, the Texan T1 aircraft is working up to replace the Tucano as part of the new UK military flying training system and will fly out of RAF Valley in North Wales. Demonstrating a high level of handling skill, Liam will now complete a slow roll as he passes back in front of the crowd. This is one of many manoeuvres taught to all students as they progress through basic fast jet flying training. This teaches young aviators the handling skills required to appreciate the complexities involved when dynamically flying an aircraft. Around the display circuit this year, you may see the Grob Tutor aircraft, which is the starting point for fast jet flying. Both Liam and I flew that aircraft during our time as air cadets and during our own military flight training. Now, the UK military are working up brand new aircraft as part of the new UK military's world-class flight training. Liam is now positioning the aircraft to fly a maximum performance turn, pulling 4.5G. As he passes back in front of the crowd, he'll pull on the stick and reach 4.5G, and he'll be pushed into the seat with a force of nearly half a ton. This is another example of a manoeuvre taught to all students at BFJT, allowing them to appreciate how to fly an aircraft to its maximum performance.
It's not allowing me to...
As Liam now heads out to the left-hand side, he's going to position to perform a favourite manoeuvre of Tucano display pilots, the hanging stall turn. As he pulls up in front of the crowd, if you watch the aircraft, it'll appear to hang in mid-air in front of the crowd at a height of about 2,500 feet. Liam will then recover the aircraft and dive to gain some speed for his next manoeuvre.
OCD, you've got to get every goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep your cameras panned on the aircraft. This is a perfect opportunity to get some photographs of the aircraft in a very unusual position. Liam joined the Royal Air Force directly from university, and I joined the Royal Navy after my A-level studies. Now, fairly early in both our military careers, at the ages of 27 and 24, we have the opportunity to operate with the display team here today. Liam is now approaching the end of his display and will be dipping his wing as he passes the crowd one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, if we all give him a great big wave as he passes by the crowd at 100 feet, accelerating to 320 miles an hour.
Right, try this one. Try bringing a mobile.
Here he goes, dipping the wing, looking out over the left-hand side. He'll be looking for your wave. Give him a big wave and a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the display as much as Liam has enjoyed flying it for you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at Torbay, and we look forward to meeting as many of you as we can at our team stand located in the Armed Forces Village.
Thank you very much on the squadron. And here comes running in now. He's joining low level and fast before rapidly climbing the aircraft to height and hover in front of you. Here he goes. Please welcome the Royal Navy Helicopter Display Team, the Black Hats. Converting the energy to height, Chris went from 100 feet and 130 knots to 600 feet and no knots in a matter of seconds. To imitate and coming in under the radar, climbing briefly to scan the battle space before nosing over the aircraft and returning below the height to which it could be spotted. Now conducting a series of wing-overs to show you how the rapid turn of direction the helicopter is capable of, and another climb to height, at this time with a 360-degree descending turn to the hover.
Give a wave, everybody. He's now conducting an over-the-shoulder departure into a tight figure of 8 position. Chris has flown in numerous frontline operations before turning his hand to instruction, and later this year he joins the frontline unit to deploy to sea for 6 months. There he goes, tipping his race disc to show you. Max rate climb from the hover before exchanging height for speed and out for a wing over. I take the opportunity to mention our friends, the satellite. Wildcat will also shortly be fitted with its new missile, the Marlet and the Venom, providing more anti-surface warfare capability to the fleet. Next manoeuvre is Chris's favourite, the biggest wing over the show right here in front of you, utilising almost 90 degrees along the bank. It looks like he's going upside down. It's flown through 270 degrees of turn. This time showing you a different aspect of the aircraft. There he goes, all the way up to 500 feet. Pausing there for a second before then nosing over. Accelerating up to the north before a final wing over. This is his last dynamic manoeuvre before he positions for the hardest manoeuvre to fly, which is the wing waggle, making Rob Dixon in the left-hand seat probably very ill. There he goes, the wing waggle. And that completes the display for the Royal Navy Helicopter Display Team 2019. The Black Cat. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give him a warm applause. And give him a big wave. Thank you. Thank you all for supporting Royal Navy Black Cats today. Here's the Strikemaster.
It's great to see what is now very much a vintage jet on the market. This is pretty interesting. I know it's got quite a backstory. For some of you, it may look a little bit like a jet provost. It comes out of that same family, and of course, the JP CAMS joint trained thousands and thousands of pilots. It was in service with the Royal Air Force from 1955 right through to 1993. Success as well, and that's part of where the story comes in with this aircraft, because this particular aircraft is really, well, it's essentially a Mark 82, but it's got an amazing backstory from its years in the Oman Air Force, and that is where Mark actually got it from. Now, the Strikemaster itself is a combat derivative of the JP Mark 5, so you can imagine quite a long development phase before we get to this particular one. And this was successfully flown in combat in many, many areas around the world, but it's particularly in the Oman-Yemeni wars. It's a very tough aircraft, very robust. It's got an armoured cockpit, single, and as you notice, noticeably noisy Viper engine with manual flying controls. And it was imported from Oman by Mark in 2004, retaining now this beautiful and immaculate grey training colour scheme from its serving there. It's actually one of the youngest Strikemasters ever produced, and now in around about its 32nd, 33rd year of life. Mark himself, the next Royal Air Force fast jet pilot, flies a variety of BA aircraft, and thoroughly enjoying himself there on the 777 and 87. But in the Air Force he flew the Chipmunk, the JP, the Hawk, Phantom, Tornado, F3 as well, and has co-owned and displayed this aircraft since 2004. He's a super chap. If you bump into it, you'll notice a slight Canadian lilt. That's where he was born. He lived here and has lived in North Wales for the last 20 years or so. Now the development phase I mentioned was very lengthy. From the early 50s, the first prototype of the JP flew in June 1954, redesigned, re-spec'd by the Royal Air Force, structural changes, undercarriage changes, new engine bringing it up to the Viper series, and eventually into the Mark V and then the T-51, the export version of the Mark V, sold to Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, of course, Kuwait and Sudan, armed with two 7.7mm 303-inch machine guns, and went on to Iraq, South Yemen, Sudan and Venezuela. But the interesting story was that the final version was usually sold to Sudan, and meanwhile the Omanis needed a replacement aircraft, and as a result of an arms embargo, the Sudanese didn't actually get their aircraft, and one of them was basically restored and put back into service to replace a broken one in Oman, and that was 425, known and seen here today as the last of the many, and it is a testimony to Mark's tenacity really that this one is still with us. Showing off all the angles of this beautiful aircraft, but being a bit underpowered and not being of the agility of modern designed jet aircraft with swept wings, it uses up a bit more airspace, but nonetheless a delight and a pleasure to watch. The aircraft was originally taken out to Oman in the summer of 1986. On arrival there, commenced service with one squadron based at Royal Air Force Oman Nazira alongside the other Strikemaster airframes, but was decommissioned eventually in 1999. Taken off and used as a tactical instructional aircraft, and became a gate guardian at various airfields before then being discovered, and after a considerable amount of work, it was shipped back to UK by March. Taken up by road to its current base, the services base, the maintenance facility that Mark himself also runs at Harlem, and following restoration was returned to the air. That was the last pass from Mark, him just repositioning, you see there, in a really high arc. And it's a pleasure, he'll be really delighted to show this aircraft off to you today with such beautiful circumstances again. So repositioning now for the last pass, good opportunity to give them a good wave, whatever you've got, hats, coats, you know the score, ice creams, all the pilots working hard to entertain you. This is Mark Petrie and the Strikemaster.
We're flying in the extra 300 aircraft today, and it's perfect for aerobatic Aerobatics, and we're going to show you the most extreme formation aerobatics today. And we're going to come from behind your heads. Only 2 teams are permitted to do that, the Red Arrows and us. And they're going to come in pyramid formation, smoke on. Please look behind you and give a warm welcome to the Blades display team. So arriving in pyramid formation here, Blade 1 has called them into box formation for our first manoeuvre, the box loop. This season we're running a competition to fly with Blade 3 Bike Fling. All you have to do is send in your photos for our display to either Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, or via email at info@theblades.com. And this is a perfect photo opportunity as the team pull up into the vertical here. Blades 2 and 3 are going to perform opposition stall turns. Blades 1 and 4 are going to perform pushovers. This is the visually spectacular Falling Angels. And now as the team head directly towards the crowd for our first high G manoeuvre, the pilots are going to be pulling up to 8G here. This is our first break of the display, so get your cameras ready for the iconic crossfire break. And now as we stick the aircraft from the left and right, this is Mike and Kirsty for their first pair's work. And they're performing a series of 4-point rolls here into snap rolls. To perform a snap roll, the pilot completely stalls one side of the wing, which enables them to roll as quickly as you've just seen. In fact, the extra has a capability of 400 degrees per second. And now Blades 2 and 3 are going head to head at a closing speed of 350 miles per hour. And eyes to the left and right again here as we look at Blades 1 and 4 as they take centre stage. And they're going to cross in the centre of the display line again, but this time they're going to pull up into the vertical and perform the pair's tail slide. And as they pull up into the vertical, they're going to let the speed lead off and let gravity take control as they fall backwards. But they have requested that every single person here cheer as loudly as you possibly can when the engines go quiet. 3, 2, 1. Stick with James McMillan, Blade 4, for his first solo routine. James joined us last year in Blade 2 position, and this year moving into the Blade 4 slot. His aircraft has a slightly bigger engine, which enables him to perform these more aggressive aerobatic manoeuvres. And he's really demonstrating here what the extra 300 can do. And he's about to perform his favourite manoeuvre, the Blade slide, as he pulls up. He's going to jam the aircraft sideways, there we go. James is actually a New Zealand native, and he was the youngest ever fast jet pilot for the New Zealand Air Force, qualifying at just the age of 20. It's an absolute pleasure to have James on board for a second year. As all our pilots in the next Red Arrow, he's also an ex-Harrier and Typhoon pilot. And he's going to perform a torque roll for you now, as he falls backwards through his own smoke. And as James finishes up there, eyes to the left now, as we see Blades 1, 2 and 3 approaching. And they're going to perform a manoeuvre that we've been doing since 2005 when the Blades formed. It's our most photographed manoeuvre, so get your cameras ready, as Blade 1 at the front is going to become inverted. Blades 2 and 3 hammering hard on the rudder to fly sideways. This is crazy. Or info@theblades.com for a chance to win a flight with Mike Lee. You can sit at the front of his Extra 300 and experience this formation aerobatics for yourself, and I can say from personal experience it is unforgettable. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank our 2019 sponsors. For a 5th year running, we've got our prime sponsor Aerobatic on board. Aerobatic are a company that specialises in flight safety software. thank you very much for your support, and I know that the sponsor's dad is here, so big shout out to him. Hope you enjoy the display. And also for a 5th year we have Zyra Cables and our charity partner, the RAF Benevolent Fund. And this next manoeuvre, as the team pull up into a half loop, it's actually dedicated to our title sponsor. Get your cameras ready for a wonderful photo opportunity of the underneath of the aircraft. They pull up and come back down to the Aerobatic box bends. To make this display as perfect as it is today for you. And just in case you missed that photo opportunity to see the underneath of the aircraft, Andy has called them into tango formation to get your cameras ready as they come back round for the tango bend. Line abreast formation, and they're going to pull up into the vertical and all perform tight stall turns to our left. And this has become a signature manoeuvre for us. This is the Blades Hammerhead. And now the team will be calling into line astern formation, one behind the other. We've been doing this manoeuvre for a number of years, but we've changed the angle of attack today, so it's going to look a little bit different for those people with cameras. And as they pull up into the vertical, each aircraft is going to slide out to the left. This is the Blade Snake. Manoeuvres. We have 3 different types of display depending on the cloud base. We have a full, a rolling and a flat. And today we have the luxury of the full display because it's absolutely stunning weather here in Torbay. And as I said, we're based in Sywell Aerodrome in Northamptonshire. We fly over 300 passengers per year from our base on our unforgettable flying experience days. And if you can't wait to find out if you win the Mike Link competition, please do visit our website, theblades.com, and book your place for yourself or for a loved one on one of our flying experience days. And now if we look to our left, we'll see all 4 approaching, and they're going to demonstrate the roll capability of the Extra 300 and perform synchronised aileron rolls. And so the Blades are an aerobatic team and so much more. We also have a Blades racing team. One of our pilots, Ben Murphy, competes in the Red Bull Aeros Masterclass World Championship. Last year was his first year competing in the Masterclass, and he was in fact the most successful ever rookie joining that class. He finished 7th out of 14 of the best pilots in the world. If you've never seen it before, please do watch it. The next race is in 2 weeks' time in Russia. And they fly 370 kilometers per hour through pylons at just 25 feet above the ground. It truly is a spectacle. You can watch that on Free Sports UK or catch the highlights on BT Sport. And now the team are going to pull up and perform a quarter clover, ready for our second break of the display. So get your cameras ready as they come back down to the trident splits. And now if you stick the 2 aircraft that are together, they're going to pull up and perform the half, so definitely get your cameras ready for this one. And this is dedicated to our charity partner, the RAF Benevolent Fund. Last year, the RAF Benevolent Fund helped over 51,000 people in the RAF and their families. They're a truly incredible charity, so please do check their website out. And let's see how the boys do here with the heart. And flying through the heart, we'll have blades 2 and 3, Mike and Kirsty. For their second pair's work, Kirsty's going to barrel roll around Mike, and they're going to perform a wonderful roll to split at the end of this one. That's also a new manoeuvre for this year. We've jazzed up the show a little bit. And as they perform more rolls into quarter circles, they're going to pull up. Perform some snap rolls for you. So Mike Bling's joined us this year from the Red Arrows. He's the longest serving Red Arrow, with nearly 3,000 sorties on the Reds. And again, Mike and Kirsty are going to go head to head in the centre of the display line at a staggering closing speed of 350 miles per hour. And this time as they pull up, they're going to perform pairs Lobshabaps. This is a particular favourite for our passengers. I'm sure you can see why. And now if we look out to our 12 o'clock, we'll see blades 1 and 4. They have to be particularly high for this manoeuvre. They've got their spoke on. They're going to pull up into the vertical, and they're going to perform a breathtaking manoeuvre here as they perform the pairs knife edge spins. The only way James McMillan Blade 4 here could explain this to me, he said if you put your hand on the ground and run around your arm whilst falling out of the air, that's pretty much what they're doing in the aircraft, but I'm pretty sure it's a little more technical than that. And now it's James McMillan's time for his second solo, again demonstrating just what the extra can do. He's been taking inspiration from our guest pilot, Gerald Cooper. Gerald Cooper is the UK's most successful aerobatic pilot, and he's been teaching James and the rest of the team how to fly the extra to its absolute extreme. And James here performing a slow roll for you across the crowd line. Make sure you get some photos of this one on this beautiful sunny day in Torbay. Today is actually a very special occasion for Blade 1 Andy Evans. During this display, he has hit his 3,000 hours in the X300, which is a massive achievement. He's one of the most experienced X300 pilots in the world. And also today, James here performing his solo. He's got a special camera on his visor. So if you'd like to see what the display looks like from his angle, please do follow us on our social media channels and look at our videos later. Maybe you'll see yourself in the crowd as well. But for now, if we look to our left, we'll see blades 1, 2 and 3. This is also a new manoeuvre for 2019. This is called the revolver, and as they come towards us, Andy at the front is going to be performing a slow roll, whilst also banking to the left. And blades 2 and 3 will be barrel rolling around the back of him. This has been the most difficult manoeuvre for the team to train. But it looks absolutely spectacular here with the smoke on. And this is the revolver. And as they finish up there, we'll see Blade 4 performing a victory roll. Unfortunately, just in time for our last manoeuvre. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating for you here today at Torbay. We'll be back again tomorrow, and hopefully all of our pilots will be on the ground in the morning for some signings and giving away some goodies. If you follow our social channels, you'll see what time they'll be around. And again, like I said, please do send in any of your photos. #FlyWithBlingy for a chance to fly in the cockpit, the front seat, sorry, of Blingy's cockpit, to experience formation aerobatics for yourself. But now for our final manoeuvre as 1, 2 and 3 head towards the crowds. You'll see James at the back fly directly underneath them, adding the fizz to the champagne slip.
ASRAM and 4 AMRAAM missiles, as well as the 27mm cannon. Coming in now at a great rate of knots. Please welcome Jim Peterson. During a Typhoon display, so sit back and enjoy it. It's just outstanding. Coming in at 600 miles an hour, that is the speed. And just walked away. He's not only brought this display to an even smaller area than last year, but he's put in about at least another half a dozen manoeuvres as well in the show space. It's absolutely fantastic. Try and get it away as you can. You won't get much done. Touched the throttles during the course of the display so far. He's in maximum power with his amazing engines, but using 600 kilograms of fuel a minute. So he's already burnt a metric ton of the fuel on board at this point in the display. Rolls there for a Cubanate reversal, as we call it. He's now going to descend rapidly back down to 100 feet and accelerate to just under the speed of sound for another high-speed pass. Now positioning the jets, come back towards you. He's going to put it into a turn, and here he goes, and he's now going to push away from himself. Here he is, upside down, the blood is rushing to his head. The most uncomfortable part of this entire sequence, going from +9 to -3. And you may have just seen a bit of fuel vapor there venting from the top of the fin as he did that. As he comes out of this turn, he's going to slow the jet down now, and he'll put it into his slow and dirty approach with the nose held up high, the stick back into his stomach, and just showing you how unusual it is to fly this jet, this hugely powerful and capable jet at such slow speeds. He's now winding the EJ200 back up again now. He'll select full heat leads and show you the slow, dirty movement. of 1,440 degrees of aileron. There's something going on at every aspect. Winding it back now, pulling the G back on, remember, up to 9 times his body weight. You come back in now for a barrel roll and with an excessive power, which you will see easily as a tight climbing spine. Tremendous amount of power still available to him. Keep your eyes closed, you might get in a quick wave here. You'll have to be fast. Pitching into the first another 9G rocketing skyward, Jim performing aileron rolls on the climb to the highest airspace he can get. A zoom climb. And I'm pretty sure he's been cleared up to 10,000, if not more. He just loves every bit in it. I know he was looking forward to this today. That was the 2019 Royal Air Force Typhoon display. There are members of the display team over in the park, of course, with the TR trainer. And there's also the display, a little bit longer and taking up quite a bit of sky, as you can see there, making the most of it, going through a whole range of different manoeuvres. And interestingly enough, it was a very famous lady who made the pits and aerobatic displays even more popular. Her name happened to be Betty Skelton, and her little pit she called the Little Stinker. And you can still see her little stinker from the 1940s. It hangs upside down in the outpost of the Smithsonian Museum at Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. And if you're ever passing through there, I do recommend you take the kids to go to that particular museum. Holding it up high now, she's basically letting all the power decay and then just lets the aircraft drop through the sky. You can see it's actually a very small aircraft and winds it up as you go through some of these tight turns and you flick it, whatever. The G actually varies enormously. If you're pulling hard, as she is at the moment, putting over the top there, we're probably talking 3-4G maybe. She's spinning it while she's flick rolling it, slow rolling it I should say now, and enjoying that. But the G, of course, if you go upside down and then push against the aircraft, you go into negative territory. And when you do that, all the blood runs to your head. It's very, very uncomfortable feeling indeed. She will know how important it is, therefore, to keep very, very fit and strong in these aircraft. You're up in the sort of Formula 1 driver territory with this sort of flying, where an awful lot is happening very fast. You've got to be totally on top of your game, and of course, fit as a fiddle to do it as well. She's very much our local participant as well, she flew up from Bodmin this morning, and she's a Cornish lady herself. Got a big screen full of sea there as she dives out of that manoeuvre. Put in a 90-degree turn there, she's letting it decay. Look here, she'll put in a boot of rudder now, and that's a classic stall turn. Now she goes over the top with virtually zero speed, but quickly regaining that, then putting in another little twist out to sea. All this time, of course, bearing that G that I explained a moment ago. You come out to the other side of the loop, you just basically put in a 180-degree twist and just fly the other way. They're doing almost the reverse, putting in a couple of turns on the way up and pulling through over the top cleanly to finish off half the other side of the loop. Getting a bit of a sideways slip there, putting in another turn, now inverted. She'll pull through there. And a lovely formation. Now all the pilots are working to a set of markers. They're out at sea there. You see a whole series of very, very large marker buoys. That's so that they can position and design their display around all those markers, but of course keep it in a totally safe area at the same time. A little bit of cross control in from Corinne there, just giving us a knife edge pass as she's looking out across you. Specialises in high quality cycle trading, and for to help provide the greatest comfort you can have on a bicycle. She keeps very fit herself and enjoys pilot gig rowing, motorbiking, cycling, walking, and her other half in the glorious country. Well, leading the two-ship formation there, the Douglas C-47 Dakota is without doubt one of the most successful aircraft designs in history. It became one of the world's most famous military transport aircraft and saw widespread use by the Allies during World War II and subsequently by air forces and civilian operators worldwide. Bringing up the rear there of the formation, Spitfire Tango Echo 311, Mark LF-16E, and you can see sporting its clip wings as well. Centre stage, the fabulous Spitfire. Produced in greater numbers than any other British combat aircraft before or since the war, an incredible 20,341 Spitfires were built in 22 different variants. And the aircraft remained in production for 12 years. Prototype's maiden flight actually took place in March 1936, and Mark I Spitfires entered Royal Air Force service with number 19 Squadron in August 1938. Spitfires fought in every operational theatre of the wars. give them a huge wave off, won't you? The whole crew is, of course, working very hard and giving up their weekends as well to entertain everybody. A terrific story indeed. And with its undercarriage down, it's going to give us another pass.